Top of the morning, it's the Y2K Collector, and I first off want to start this video by saying that some of the most fun games in my collection are actually inexpensive. I think some of the best games to play are actually some of the cheapest games that you can find out there, whether they be in stores or whether they be online. Just a few examples of that. Battle Unit Zeoth. This is a side-scrolling shooter on the Game Boy. This is basically where you travel as a mech and you kind of fly across the screen. You can power, you really have one main gun that you can continue to power up until you get this really large spread shot. And this is a very fun one. It's not a long game. And this actually used to be cheaper. I remember a couple years ago, this was like 12 bucks. It recently went up when I checked. I'm surprised that it's going for around 19 to 25 bucks. Hopefully this isn't one of those ones that, you know, a year from now I look up and it's like 60 bucks. But this is a cheap one, or at least it was a cheap one, a lot of fun. This is one that I recently just picked up. Super Star Wars. I just picked this up for about 10 bucks the other day. A very fun side-scrolling run and gun shooter style game based off one of my favorite movie franchises. So really love this one. Not expensive at all. You can find this online for probably about 15 bucks. Another really fun one that you got here, right? So Final Fight, classic beat 'em up. Like I've always said, this one is right up there with the Streets of Rage series. Any classic beat 'em up series you could think of, Final Fight is definitely right there with it. Another super cheap one, but bangs a lot of buck, or packs in a lot of punch, a lot of bang for buck on this one. Two great classics on the PS3, the Eco and Shadow of Colossus collection. If you've never played either of these two games and you're looking for like a single player game that you can get lost in on a Friday or a Saturday night, these are two great ones to check out. And again, very cheap, $9.99 for this collection of two amazing games. Another very exciting, colorful, the graphics are great on this one. I really like this one. Infamous Second Son, a great one on the PS4. This one goes for like 5 or 6 bucks. So this is like super cheap. You could definitely find this almost anywhere. Almost every GameStop usually has this game in stock. And then of course, if you want to go back to retro, Sonic 2, classic. You can't beat Sonic 2 when it comes to classic, amazing video games. And in terms of side-scrolling runners, like I don't want to say run and gun, but this is basically a side-scrolling platformer. Sonic is just classic, right? And, you know, aside from the others that I've shown you here, this is a retro game that you can get actually complete in box with the manual and everything for around 20 bucks. So this one is super cheap. And why am I talking about these cheap games this morning? I'm talking about them because there's this huge craze going on right now with Walmart. I've seen it all over my YouTube feed where folks are saying, go to Walmart, they've got $5 games. Go to Walmart, they've got $5 games, they've got $1 games, they've got 50 cents games, you know, and I don't have a Walmart near me. In fact, a lot of the Walmarts near me actually closed down. They've actually moved out. And I don't have a Walmart near me. But even if I did have a Walmart near me, just looking at what I'm seeing with some of the videos, a lot of the games that Walmart has on sale for $5 or $10 are games that more than likely would have hit the clearance rack because they're not games that the majority, right? Like the general gamer isn't really interested in. It's like random games like Super Monkey Ball. It's like certain Lego games. Just games that wind up hitting the clearance rack regardless. And I think that, you know, the videos that I'm seeing remind me of a video that I saw from Get the Greg Games where he's like, don't buy junk. Like, don't run out and just buy junk because it's cheap. Now, I'm not saying that those games are junk, right? Because video games are subjective. So an amazing game to me might be a super boring game to you. You know, we all have different tastes. You might like JRPGs. I might like shoot 'em ups. You might like horror games. I might like platformers. So it's all subjective. But when you're looking at things in general, right? When you're looking at it from a general perspective, you can objectively say that there are more valuable games than others, that there are more sought after games than others, that there are games that captures the attention of a wider audience than others. And the games that do not capture the attention of that wider audience generally, and the games that are that typically sit on the shelves, or the games that only maybe a parent might buy for their toddler, or a game that, just one of those obscure games. Those are the games that I typically see hitting this amazing level of clearance. And I think it's because, stores, first of all, stores like Walmart are trying to purge themselves of physical media to begin with, right? So it makes sense, before they go and try and liquidate the games that they know people want, it would make more sense for them to liquidate the non-desirable games. And when I see these sales and I see the games that are falling into this sale, I just see liquidation. That's all I see. I see a major company that's trying to move away from physical media doing a great job of liquidating a lot of the games that no one else will want. Now, if these are games that you don't have in your collection and you really enjoy them and you want to add them to your collection because you're going to play them and you think they're fun, by all means, man, have at it. Go for it. Pick them up, grab them, play them, have a blast. But if you are a reseller, if you're someone who's thinking, yeah, I'm going to buy all these games and keep them sealed and flip them, to me, that's dumb. It's just as bad as going to GameStop and buying all of the $5.99 games that have been sitting on the shelf at GameStop for the last year, thinking, yeah, I'm going to buy these, and in 6 months, they're going to be worth something. The majority of those games are games that the general audience does not care about. And when I say general audience, I mean, hardcore video game players, as well as just the casual game player or just the general public. These are not games that people want in general. And so if you're buying these because you're looking at it like, man, that's a great deal, that's a great value, I'd have to ask myself, is it a great value? Does paying $5 for a game that isn't worth anything in general, right, outside of what it means to you? Because if the $5 gets you a game that you enjoy, then yeah, $5 well spent. But if you're saying, this is a great value objectively, meaning like the general public thinks this is a great value, I don't know. Now, if you walked into Walmart and they had, I don't know, Princess Peach for $5, well, now we're cooking with gas. If you walk into Walmart and they have, Kirby or Mario or, any of the major titles, current titles that, are being sought after, yeah, now we're cooking with gas, because those are games that are objectively more desirable. More people want to play those games. More people want to buy those games. They're more popular. And then, to me, in my opinion, you're getting a good deal. But I just want to caution folks who might see some of these videos talking about this Walmart deal not to get swept up in the hype of $1 and $5 games, and then go out there and spend $200 on a bunch of games that really don't mean anything, that aren't worth anything, that aren't going to mean anything to you, and that are worthless. To me, it's just not good from either perspective. It won't be good for you as a collector, and I definitely don't think it'll be good for you if you're someone who plans to resell video games. I mean, and I, as I move into 2024, and I'm saying this because I've fallen victim to that too, right? I've gone into stores, seen sales, or I've heard about sales, or I've watched a YouTube channel where they talk about different sales, and I've gone out and made purchases based on some of these recommendations, but then realized that, you know what, none of these games really matter to me. Like, I really don't care about them. I don't care to play them because they don't fit my style of games that I like to play. And as we go into 2024, that's really all I'm interested in. I actually made a bunch of purchases during GameStop's buy two get one promo that they ran last week. And as I'm sorting through the games and I'm sorting through my pickups, I'm realizing that there's a lot of games that I'm going to wind up having to return because they don't really fit my gameplay style. But the games that I'm keeping after sorting out, and for any of you who've been watching the channel, this box was full with pickups. But these are really the only ones that I'm going to wind up keeping, because these are the only games that, in my opinion, really fit my gameplay style. I like The Legend of Zelda, so I'm going to keep that. I'm a Metroidvania fanatic, so of course I'm keeping Castlevania Adventure. I love 3D beat 'em ups, so Fighting Force is going to stay in the collection. Everyone knows that I'm a beat 'em up fanatic and I'm collecting for Spider-Man, so I'm going to keep Maximum Carnage. Same thing with Kirby. And then when you look at all the Super Nintendo games that I got, Contra, Battletoads, Mega Man, Castlevania, Mega Man 5, these are all games that fit my gameplay style, so it makes sense that I keep them. Alice Madness Returns, an amazing 3D platformer that has that eerie, kind of weird, spaced out vibe to it. Really like that. Yakuza Kiwami, beat 'em up that I love. Mario Party 6, an amazing deal on a very fun, family-friendly game, which I plan on diving into with the family. And then, of course, the Sonic series. So despite the other games that I got, these were the games that made sense, and these were the games that I'm keeping in my collection because I'm really not interested in just adding junk or adding fluff to the collection. And so that's just something that I want to caution the Y2K crew on a hump day. It's Wednesday, we're halfway through the week, the weekend's coming up, and I know with all these Walmart videos that are dropping this week, Walmart's probably going to be crazy and they're going to be sold out of all their cheap games. But again, if you're planning on going to Walmart and spending $150 on a bunch of $5 and $10 games, sit back for a second and really think, is there a game that you really wanted, a rare game that you've been thinking about that also costs maybe $50 to $100? And would you get more value from buying that one game and playing that one game more so than you would if you bought 10 or 15 $1 games? It's just questions to ask yourself. Obviously, no one can tell you what to collect or what you should buy or what you should be into. Those are all decisions that you have to make. But I just wanted to kind of drop this video out there, just cautioning everyone, don't get caught up in the Walmart hype and don't get caught up in the $1, $5 hype, because you may just buy stuff that you don't really care about. But that's me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. It's the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you're having a great week. It's hump day. Enjoy it. And I'll be back this afternoon. Take it easy.